everyone, Linda here from Gumnut Lane Jewellery. Today we're going to be making another couple of links too. These are the links here that we're going to be making. So if you'd like to learn how to make those, then stay with me. I'll just gather all my supplies together and we'll get going. Okay, see you soon. Okay, back with you. Okay, so this is the first link that we're going to be making today, and I've got a couple of examples here to show you. You can make, they're made exactly the same way. It just depends on where you put your ply on. So there's that one. That one. As you can see, one's longer than the other. This one's shorter. And this one's longer again and just a little bit different. So it just depends. You can play around with it. Okay, so what we're going to need, excuse me, is some 18 gauge wire. Now you could do this in a 20 gauge, 16 gauge. I wouldn't go any lower than a 20 gauge, and 16 gauge, I probably would anneal that first, just depending on how strong you are. I'm not that strong, so I would have to anneal it. So just grabbing our tape measure, and I'm going to measure off 10 centimeters, which is 4 inches, roughly 4 inches. So just going to cut that there, making sure I flush cut it and flush cut the other end as well. Okay, just move all that out of the way. Now I'm going to grab my round nose pliers and my tape measure again. Just move my camera down a little bit. Make sure I keep this on shot, in shot, hopefully. Okay, I'm going to come down 3 centimeters, which is about 1 1/4 inches. Right there. Grab my pliers. Now, depending on where you place the wire in your, place your wire in your round nose pliers, depends on how big your loop here at the top is. So as you can see, one's fatter than the other. So that just depends. That's a personal preference. So now I'll have to measure that again. I forgot where my 3 centimeters is. So there, 3 centimeters, and I'm just going to bend that wire over. Just back like that. So you've got something that looks like that. And then measure your 3 centimeters again at the other end. And you just want to bend back the opposite way. So you bring in your wire back around the other side. So you've got something that looks like that. This is a really simple link, but it's very effective. Okay, from here we're just going to grab the end of our wire and give that a turn. So you've got a loop like that. And then do the same thing on the other side. Just bending it back like that. Now you could leave it like that, or you could flush cut your ends here if you want. If you know you're pedantic and you want to have a perfect round loop there on the end, and then just close them up. Totally up to you. If if you don't want to do this step, you don't have to. So it looks more like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is just push those a little bit closer together. And you just do that by crossing this wire over the other wire, and then the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to grab my bench block and my rubber mallet. Now you can flatten these if you want to use a metal mallet, and I would just flatten just your ends there. You could go all the way up to here, but I think it looks more effective if you just do the end. So just, you know, that far, from that far down. Okay, I'm just going to give these a good hammer. I want to work hard in that wire. And that's so it holds its shape. And the other side. Making sure you do those loops as well. So we've got the whole thing done. Okay, I can move those out of the way now. And now I'm going to grab a jump ring. Now these jump rings I made myself, and I used this step on the mandrel, this one here, to get that size there, like that. So now I'm going to flush cut this end. Oops, I forgot to cover it again, and then flush cut the other one. So turning my pliers, my cutters over, so I get a loop. And I'm just going to grab my bench block and mallet again and give that a hammer. Okay, I'm going to grab my flat nose and bent nose pliers. I'm going to open that jump ring up and quite a way, so you've got a good opening on it like that. And I'm going to thread that through that loop and back up through that loop. Now I have to change hands. I've got to use my flat nose in my right hand. And then grabbing the other side of that jump ring and just wiggling them close together till you hear it click like that. Then I always just like to give it another little reinforcement, and that's one of our loops. So that one lines up perfectly across. You can do it like that, or if you go 2.5 centimeters, which one was 2.5 centimeters? Yeah, this one was 2.5 centimeters, so I've got a bit of an angle there, and also did the bit wider on my pliers. And this one was 2 centimeters difference in it, so it gave me a bit of a different look again. So up to you whichever way you want to do it. And then to hook them together, I would use, you could have pre-hooked them if you wanted to, then you'd have something that looked like that coming down. I would just use a small jump ring or a couple of jump rings holding those together if you want them to be lined up like that, or even a beaded wire wrapped bead in between. You know, just use your imagination, whatever you think looks nice. Okay, next one up is this little one here. This is done in a 20 gauge, this one. I did it in an 18 gauge on a chain, which I'll show you. This is the 18 gauge here. It's quite a lot thicker, obviously, and a lot heavier. And the one on the end I did in a 16 gauge, just as a focal there, and that's to go with, I made this pendant to go with it. I haven't attached it yet because I'm coating it in Protector Clear, so it's only got one coat on it at the moment. So yeah, that's what you can do with that. Okay, so in the 20 gauge, now what I like to do with this is I just like to pull off a length. If you can work off the reel, go ahead and do that. I find that really difficult to do. I don't know why, but I just get myself in such a tangle with it. So I just cut off a length. Doesn't matter how long, whatever you feel is manageable. So my piece is like, you know, from there to there, not huge. Just give that a bit of a warm up, bit of a straighten. Now, grabbing my round nose pliers, I'm going to come down, if you can see about that far. I'm just going to give that a slight bend, and I'm doing a wire wrap loop here. I'm just grabbing my flat nose pliers to hold on to that. And I'm just going to wrap that around 3 times. So you don't count the first one as your wrap. That's the very first one there. The second one that I did is your first wrap. So that's 2. And 3. Okay, just grabbing my cutters. And my flat nose pliers. I'm just going to push that end down. And grabbing my round nose pliers again. I'm just coming in right on top of my wraps there. And I'm just going to bend it slightly. And then try not to hit my light and camera. Bend that wire up and over. Around like that. And then I just want to tighten that loop down a little bit, bring it down closer. Like that. So it should be looking like that. And I'm going to grab my, actually I'm going to add this onto my chain. So we'll just, might as well do it now while I've got that loop open. So I'm just going to thread that on to my already made chain there. And pull that through. So it's linked on now. Grabbing my round nose pliers to hold that loop. And we're just coming up and over. So you just want to wrap down to the end over the top of your previous wraps. Now you can do these neatly like I am at the moment, or you can do them messy. Totally up to you, whatever look you're going for. Just grabbing my cutters. And I'm going to come in there and give that a cut. And grabbing my flat nose pliers, I'm just going to bend that end in, tuck it in there. I'm going to straighten that loop up, that wasn't very straight. Okay, we'll do one more of those. So just coming down a ways like that, slightly bending, up and over and around, and then I'll hook this onto my already made chain there. Grabbing my round nose pliers. Now if you're strong enough you can wrap this around with your fingers, but I never can. I can a little bit, but I can't get them tight enough. That's one. 2. And 3. Cutting that off. Tapping that little burr down. You don't have to worry about that too much because it's covered by the other coils anyway, but just tap it down a little bit so it's, you know, making a bulk, like a little knob in your other wraps. It doesn't stick up. Okay, round nose pliers. Oops, sorry, yep, round nose pliers. Coming down right on top of those coils, over. Back up and around. I'm just going to bring that in a bit closer. So I'm just rolling that forward. And then just popping them back in the other way and breaking that neck. I'm grabbing my flat nose pliers. And I'm binding that around. Grabbing my cutters. Cutting off the wire. And tapping in that. I can't see him very well at the moment. Get in there. There we go, he's down. So that's that link. Yeah, so that's our tutorial for this week. I hope you really all enjoy it. If you don't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great. And subscribing if you haven't subscribed. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Everyone have a good one. Okay, guys, bye.